Let's all laugh at the sugars. Part 24. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I recently smashed through 200,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of you that continue to subscribe, like, comment, and share my work. Although there are those that comment upon my work who are very much of the sugary persuasion, thick as mince, unable to evaluate the evidence, likely to trot out certain standard phrases which will of course invite the trusty horn of ridicule, which is here and ready to highlight their idiocy. There's only one thing to do. Bring on the sugars, and you can now commence laughing at them. Ensure that you're not drinking anything, eating anything, your teeth are firmly in your mouth, that there shouldn't be anything in your mouth that ordinarily ought not to be there, and therefore you can then settle back, listen to the chocolatey, velvety tones of your glorious narrator as we prepare for another delicious slice of laughing at the sugars. Who comes venturing into the lair of the ultra? Well, first up, it is Charles Balcom, FN4IU. Are we jealous of the success of the Sussex? Charles, please feel free to outline to me what that success is. Monetary success? Well, they've got that, but they're draining it pretty quickly, and I'm not really bothered about that. I'm rather well off myself, thank you very much. Being ridiculed repeatedly, I don't regard that as success. Unable to get any new deals, I don't regard that as success. Ostracized yourselves from your family, don't regard that as success. So what is this success of which you speak? You can be just as successful if you put your mind to it. I'm actually more successful, although you have to do it in 2.5 years. Come on, you can do it. Well, Charles showing some encouragement, although falling into the trap of using jealous when he means envious. Next, it's Diane Martinez, 5284. Obviously, you're, incorrect use of you're, interested in this one's wife. All you do is talk about this one's wife. You're actually obsessed with this one's wife. You make your money off this one's wife. Let me help you with something, Diane Martinez. Yes, I do make some money as a consequence of talking about this one's wife, pointing out her ridiculous behaviours as a consequence of her narcissism. And why not? I'm bringing entertaining education to many people. One of the facts that comes of this reach by using her is that I am able to access people who ordinarily would not have come across my work. Furthermore, many of these people who tuned in to learn more about this one's wife have been able to find out that, lo and behold, they've been dealing with a narcissist, and yet they never realised that was the case. The advantage of that to them is that they have now been given insight into understanding a world which they hitherto had no knowledge about, that they're able to make sense of the behaviours that they were being subjected to, the abuse that they were enduring. I have received many emails from people confirming that were it not for this one's wife, they'd have no idea about narcissism, and therefore it's actually enabling people, as well as the extension of my legacy, Dan Martinez, to understand more about narcissism. But once again, demonstrating that sugary predilection for getting things wrong, all you do is talk about this one's wife. Really? Well, perhaps that's why, for instance, I recently spoke about Sean Combs, that I have talked about the betrayers, that I have talked about the behaviours of Boris Johnson or Vladimir Putin, that I've talked about plenty of victims in relation to online dating, that I've explained more about how the narcissist cons, sweet as tongue, has sharp as tooth, that I have enabled people to understand why the narcissist wants you dead. I've talked about the boredom of the psychopath, the fact that the psychopath will burn it all. I've spoken about the way that the psychopath regards it as no pyro, no party. I've talked about the ice-cold response of the psychopath. In fact, if you weren't such a moron, if you were not such a dingbat that is just focused upon your own idiocy, you'd realise that there are thousands of videos, yes, thousands of videos, Dan, which are nothing to do with this one's wife. But it would be too much like hard work for you, wouldn't it, to actually consider some evidence? Far easier to have a knee-jerk reaction and make yourself look like a prize plum. Lulk4694, it's weird to be this obsessed with maligning someone. Get a grip. God sees it all. It isn't obsession. You'll see that it's education. And it isn't about maligning her, it's simply pointing out her behaviours. Yes, I ridicule her, because after all, when dealing with someone as ridiculous as her, she has to be ridiculed, otherwise one's head would fall in on oneself. As for God, well, you might think that he sees it all, it's not really going to trouble me. Lives out loud. It's fucking weird how obsessed you are about this one's wife, like really crazy. Really. You know, I don't have a shrine to her. I don't talk about her much at all. In my private life, she rarely comes up. Occasionally someone might mention of her and I move the conversation on because I find her boring. But what I do is use her as a lesson. I use her as a teaching tool. It's nothing to do with obsession, but you're too cerebrally lazy that your brain cells retired a long time ago, and all you end up doing is trotting out the sugary comment of obsessed, resulting in you receiving the horn of ridicule. We now have Nicole Weaver, 2462, whose underwear is clearly too tight for her. Just admit you're a bloated, blubbering, I'm neither of those things, piece of crap, I'm neither of that either, that is nothing more than a reminder of British colonisation. Let's get racist, shall we? Once again, we have an individual that will undoubtedly be trying to defend this one's wife on the basis of accusing other people of engaging in racism and is a complete hypocrite. And hatred of anyone other than those that are white. And there we are. The racism card played. That's what your videos say. None of them say that at all, actually. None of my videos talk about colonisation. None of them are a reminder of British colonisation. You can hate this woman. Actually, I don't. I just find her pretty dull. As much as you want. But she did go to college. Whoopie fucking do. Wow, isn't she amazing? Let's all raise a glass to her bravery, to her inspiring nature that she went to college. I went to university. You don't catch me banging on about it, expecting plaudits for it, you stupid mare. She did go to a reputable school. Ah, well, if you say it twice, that must mean it's true. She had a career. Yes, she did. She was an actress. I agree with you. She had a career, which she then decided she was going to give up because she wanted Easy Street. She wanted to put her favourite thing behind her ears, no, not perfume, her ankles, and draw in a man, ensnare him, and then be kept thereafter. And she married into the most racist family on the fucking planet, I think you're trying to write there. Really, how are they racist? Explain to me. Oh, you can't. But you're the racist, Nicole Weaver. You bring up the issue of race. You lash out at British colonisation. And you bring up the issue of being white. You're the racist. You're engaging in huge amounts of projection. And that makes you a grade A turd. Now we welcome at 5P674 HG. That's me. Your incorrect use of grammar. Just jealous. No, I'm not. Of Prince Harry and Princess This One's Wife. That's not her title. Getting that wrong because you have no connection to the royal family. How do you know I haven't got any connection to the royal family? Why don't you leave them alone and get a life? I have one, thank you very much. You're, again, incorrect use of grammar, an evil, fair enough, racist, sociopath. No, I'm a psychopath. Well done, 5P674 in the space of 2 sentences, you managed to include a raft of sugary idiocy. I suppose you can now go and sit in your shrine of the person that you don't know, the person that doesn't care about you, and think to yourself, gosh, well done. I got at least 4 blasts of the horn of ridicule there. I really matter. Now we have Prophet Master. Can't you find someone else to talk about? Yes, and if you had a brain, Prophet Master, you would look through my channel and see that Boris Johnson has been spoken about. Chrissy Teigen has been spoken about. Vladimir Putin has been spoken about. Taylor Swift has been spoken about. Stockton Rush has been spoken about. James Corden, arsehole, has been spoken about. In fact, I've spoken about scores of other individuals. Oscar Pistorius, for example. Amber Heard. Jada Pinkett Smith. Will Smith. Johnny Depp. Lucy Letby. Lots of different people to talk about. And you know what? I can just draw those off the top of my head as examples, and there are thousands of other videos about other people to talk about. All you do when you trot that, can't you find someone else to talk about, is demonstrate that you're stupid and lazy. You talk about her literally every day, as if you were actually in a relationship with her. Crying with laughter emoji. Well, really. So your definition of having a relationship is to analyse someone's behaviour by reference to their narcissism, is it? Okay. I think you're a bit strange. You've been at it, incorrect grammar, for so long cyber-slurping this woman. What I've been doing is educating and entertaining people for so long, unlike you, where all you've been doing for so long is continually demonstrating your shortage of cerebral matter. Bubble of Peace, responding to another poster, jealous, you mean envious, of beautiful this one's wife, I see. Fool, make something of your life and stop engaging with someone who is unaware of your existence. Inability to spell, demonstrated once again. Bubble of Peace, do you realise that you're trying to engage with someone who is unaware of your insignificant existence? Once again, like so many other sugars, you defend somebody who doesn't give a rat's ass about you, who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Why don't you go and do and make something of your life rather than defending that narcissist? Lee and the Moon. It's really psychotic how people pick this one's wife, name misspelt, apart. This is really something else. It's not psychotic, it's forensic. There is so much material to embrace, so much about her that needs to be picked apart. And both girl. What a dehumanizing and misogynistic poll. What evil little racist bullies you losers are. You can call her any sound that your brains can construct, and it won't change that you're her inferiors. Ha! And she's your superior in literally every way. Really. I'm far more intelligent than she is. I'm better looking than she is. I'm more effective than she is. I've achieved more in my life than she has done so. I'm actually better liked than she is, and I'm a narcissistic psychopath, so that tells you something. I have better connections than she has. And that's just me, and many of my viewers aren't inferior to her in the slightest. For instance, they are more likeable human beings than she is, that they're kinder than she is, that they are more compassionate than she is. They don't lie in the way that she does. So to try and suggest that she's superior in literally every way really doesn't add up to the evidence. But as we know with you sugars, the consideration of the evidence is something that you're a complete stranger to. So you bully her to cope with that annoying to you fact. A tale as old as time for your abusive, dishonest, prejudiced, inappropriate and traditionally violent type. Well, at least you've come up with some adjectives and you're perhaps a little bit more articulate than the standard sugar, but once again, describing her as being superior to other people and suggesting that people are inferior to her really doesn't stack up. Empower You Wellness and Tarot. This guy's obsession with this one's wife invokes a side eye. I feel he does videos on people he knows the masses want to hate. It's not so much a case of doing videos for people to hate. Naturally, there's a lot of people who don't like her, and I readily admit there are some people in my viewership who just want to hear her getting a verbal kicking from an articulate individual such as myself. But most people are interested in narcissism. Most people want to understand why she behaves as she does. And of course, I don't just make videos about her. As I've pointed out already, I make videos about lots of other people, not necessarily people that you would perhaps determine as necessarily being unpopular. For instance, Russell Brand I've done videos on, and he has a lot of popularity. Yes, he can be a divisive figure. Johnny Depp's liked by lots of people, so's Will Smith. Vladimir Putin has his supporters also, so it's incorrect to say that I'm making videos about the masses, rather about people that the masses want to hate. I haven't seen not one of his This One's Wife videos, but through me searching for one of his video of Jada, saw a comment on another video which brought me to his page. I saw so many videos mentioning This One's Wife. Well, there are a lot of them, admittedly, but they're still outnumbered by the ones that don't mention her. It's seeming as though he's a troll. No, if you actually took the time to watch the video, and you admit you haven't done, so that's not really a very good basis for forming an opinion, writing about something that you actually haven't experienced. Not particularly sensible, and I'd venture to suggest the mark of an idiot. And likes to feed into the popularity of mental health and overwhelming awareness of narcissism, combined with coddling narcissistic racists, by making video after video after video after video, on and on and on, about This One's Wife for click views and money. For people love to have validation for their irrational hate. Again, it's more dislike that people have, and it's actually rational. There's plenty of reasons to dislike This One's Wife, that she uses race to further her aims, that she tells lies, that she revises history, that she smears people who can't answer back, that she swoops in like a ghoul to utilise the tragedy of the shooting of innocent children for her own benefits, that she sits and wanks on about how wonderful a mother she is when she's talking to people who've lost their own children. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure that if I put my mind to it, I'd come up with plenty of reasons for rational dislike of her, which ultimately does not provide any solutions in a world full of narcissists. I think you mean narcissists. Well, actually, my work provides plenty of solutions. Go and look at the testimonials, and people who don't know their value to avoid them. Also, disregarding the circumstances that shifted the offender into evolving into a narcissist. Well, you mean narcissist. Again, if you'd taken some time to actually look at my work, rather than commenting without doing so, you would see that I completely explain how a narcissist is created. It's a merry-go-round that will keep money in the content creator's pocket, and the masses distracted from finding out why they seek such content, and seeing they are possibly part of the problem by feeding the dilemma with their consistent energy towards such people or topics. Well, empower you, wellness, and tarot. It's astonishing that you talk about irrational behaviour when you clearly subscribe to tarot reading, and, furthermore, that you manage to say such a little by using lots of words. Next we have Jessica EV4KG, responding to MazzyD9973. If I want likes, I will go to the beautiful and positive pages that support Prince Harry and This One's Wife. I'd rather be in the minority than be filled with hate and racism for the last 5 years on the devil's playground, aka social media. Yet you're on it regularly because we know that you're the person that uses repeated profiles to say the same message. How do we know that? Get the point, cupcake, as you write at the end. And you use this phrase towards a woman that hasn't done anything wrong personally to the haters or their families. You trot this shite out, manuring the parish with the slops of your delinquent mind, and you have to suggest that you don't hang around on social media. You are a fucking idiot. Vilma Smith, 1953. You people need to get a life, but you wouldn't eat if it wasn't for this couple. Yes, we would. They are not thinking about the others that are living off the taxpayers, and what is Egghead and his wife Mumble are up to. Oh, she's taking care of the children, and he's picking roses in the bushes. Well, thank you for that incoherent ramble, Vilma Smith. We do care about you, and we've notified your rambling to the authorities, and therefore the men are going to come and take you away. Don't worry, they're going to put a needle in your arm and everything will be all right. All of the voices will soon stop, and all of the delusions will just go away as you're subjected to the chemical kosh. Just put on that little jacket there. It's specially tailored for you. No, don't worry about the fact that you can't flap your arms around like a pissed-up ninja. That's all right. Just go with the nice men, and they'll put you in the back of the white wagon, and they'll take you away to a place where you can smile, and it's all happy and rosy and birdsong. It's going to be all right, Vilma Smith. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for laughing at the Sugars.